A Minnesota mother who went viral after a video taken in April emerged of her using the N-word is now facing criminal charges, potential jail time, and a fine. The Rochester County Attorney's Office says it has filed 3 counts of disorderly conduct against the woman identified as Shiloh Hendrix after they say she called a black child a racial slur. Here's video of the incident after her alleged verbal attack on the child as a bystander confronts her with a cell phone camera.
You call him the child?
The you talking
Did you call the child the nigger word?
None of your business.
It is my own business. You call him Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again?
You
Okay. All right, that's what you say.
The video has received millions of views, and Rochester Mayor Kim Norton said in a statement it has caused real turmoil in the community. The criminal complaint filed Tuesday accuses Hendrix of being wrongfully and unlawfully engaged in offensive, obscene, or abusive language that would reasonably tend to arouse alarm, anger, or resentment from others. While many have condemned the woman for her behavior, others have defended her after she says her address and her personal information was leaked online. As of Wednesday, her Give, Send, Go page has raised more than $800,000 with a goal of $1 million. The little boy's GoFundMe, meanwhile, has raised more than $340,000. The child was listed as a 5-year-old in the initial report, but the criminal complaint describes him as an 8-year-old. According to police, the father chased down the little boy, who is autistic, after he took an applesauce pouch out of another person's diaper bag. Hendrix allegedly repeatedly called the little boy a racial slur and took the item away from him. If convicted, Hendrix faces up to 90 days in jail and or a $1,000 fine.
Hey guys, my name is Modi and you are welcome to Modi Speaks. I'm sure you guys are already familiar with this incident. A white woman by the name of Shiloh Hendrix, who was already exhausted and suffering from severe black fatigue. I mean, who isn't, okay? We all are witnessing the degeneracy going on. Now, this woman, out of anger and sheer frustration, called a black kid the N-word, okay? A black kid who went through her toddler's bags and stole some stuff. Now, back then, this happened in April of this year, yeah. So, back then, crazy black folks were claiming that the kid was 5 years old and that he was an autistic boy, okay? They tried to paint him into the perfect victim. Extremely young, autistic, you know, that sort of thing, okay? But he looked nothing like a 5-year-old, okay? More like a 10-year-old boy. Because if he was 5, then I would know, because he is going to be in the Guinness Book of World Records as the oldest 5-year-old boy. But anyway, today, the reports have changed and they are now claiming that he is 8 because people started questioning how a so-called 5-year-old would be this big. And also, the claims of him being autistic was pulled out of thin air because there was not a single evidence to back up that particular claim, unless you are counting word of mouth, okay? So yeah, this kid stole a toddler's belonging in the park. The toddler's mother, Shiloh Hendrix, flipped out, called him the N-word. Black people came for her, demanding for her head. Her personal details were leaked online, including her residential address. She was threatened. Her children was threatened, okay, to the extent that she had to request for financial help online in order to keep her kids safe and move out from her jeopardized address. Now, the black kid in question was also gifted almost $400,000 for his emotional support, okay? You know, fundraising back and forth. The white woman was raising funds for her safety. The black kid was, you know, raising funds for emotional support and all the rest of them. Now, I do not condone Shiloh's outburst, okay? I think she could have handled the situation a little more differently. I think she was a little bit mean, but I also understand that she was angry. She is also fed up, okay? Because the fatigue had become unbearable for her at that point, okay? So yeah, I am not a fan of racial slurs, but also I still would defend anyone who is about to be jailed for using a racial slur, because at the end of the day, okay, your First Amendment right demands that you be given the freedom to be mean in your speech, okay? If you need to be. If you think you need to be mean, you have that freedom. Okay, now the First Amendment right of the United States Constitution protects freedom of speech, even when that speech is offensive, hateful, or upsetting. So, according to the court of law, people can express unpopular or hateful opinions, including racial slurs, okay? courts have repeatedly ruled that speech is protected unless it directly incites violence, constitutes a true threat, or crosses into legally defined harassment. Now, look, I am not saying that we should condone racial slurs or racism or anything like that, okay? But I am saying that we should not criminalize speech unless it is a direct threat, okay, or inciting violence or harassment with repeated behavior. That's what the First Amendment is talking about. Now, the people filing the charges, which in this case is the NAACP in Rochester, claims that they are not charging her for using the N-word. Rather, they are charging her for, what was it again? I think I read it somewhere. They said, engages in offensive, obscene, and abusive language, tending reasonably to arouse alarm, anger, or resentment in others. Oh my God. Now, that is simply code for you said something that we do not like, okay? Something that Black people do not like. And that is what I have a problem with, because in America today, there is a racial asymmetry in how offensive language is judged, punished, or condemned publicly. White people using the N-word, jail them. This is wrong. Convict them. But then Black people using the cracker word or bleach demon or whatever ridiculous thing they come up with, acceptable, or cricket. And that is the double standard I will never stand for. The American society punishes race-based behavior differently depending on who you are. Freedom of expression is only safe for some people, but not safe for others. Now, how is that fair? We really need to be honest about the racial double standard going on in America today. If this particular situation were reversed, if a Black woman had screamed cracker or some other racial slur at a white child, do you think that would make national headlines? Would there be a string of criminal charges? A media frenzy? Not likely, and we know it. That is just the pure truth. Yes, offensive word exists in every direction, but society only cares when that particular offensive word fits a particular narrative. This is also a huge attack on free speech, okay? Which is also one of the main reasons I am making this video right now. So if you are a radical white, Asian, Hispanic, or whatever other races exist out there, I don't know, Oompa Loompa, whatever it is, and you care about free speech, then you should be condemning this right now. Because if you don't, okay, this will still come back to bite you in the butt. Freedom of speech is a fundamental human right and everybody should have it. And when I'm talking about protecting freedom of speech, I'm not talking about protecting polite dinner talk. I'm talking about protecting unpopular speech, ugly speech, okay, that makes people uncomfortable. That is what freedom of speech is all about. Because if we start using disorderly conduct to police words we find morally offensive, where does that end, okay? Do we arrest comedians for off-color jokes, or do we lock up your uncle at Thanksgiving for saying something dumb about politics? Because what we fail to register is that this Shiloh Hendrix case isn't about just one woman yelling something horrible. It is about the type of country you want to live in. Do you want to live in a society where people have the right to say things, even if it is wrong things, and we confront it with better speech, not handcuffs? Or do you prefer to live in a society where offensive words becomes crime and feelings replace laws? I mean, that is how the current United Kingdom was born. The one we are seeing today, the current England, Britain, and all the rest of them. A society where you cannot even criticize a certain uncriticables. That is also where the US is heading to if you keep quiet in this kind of cases. Today, it is the N-word. Tomorrow is going to be your tweet about immigration. And next week is going to be your opinion on gender. And maybe the next is going to be your statements on religion. This will not only affect Shiloh Hendrix, it will affect you too. It is all about your freedom, guys, whether you like it or not. And it is all about whether you believe in freedom or not, okay? I am not here to defend offensive words. I am not here to defend racial slurs. I am here to defend your rights, irrespective of your race. Of course, ugly speech should be condemned, but it should never be criminalized. Because if you give the government the power to punish people for being offensive, you won't like what happens when this government decides that you are the one who is being offensive. These people are building a society where only one side is allowed to speak, and they are doing it 3 bogus charges at a time. But as always, guys, these are my thoughts, these are my opinions. Please feel free to share yours in the comment section below, but do so respectfully. Also, if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, honestly, I don't know what you're waiting for. Subscribe to the channel, like and share this video to keep people informed, and consider joining my membership or supporting the channel in any way that you can. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to catch you on the next one. For now, peace.